for my first question, for those who may not be familiar with who you are, who is Clinton Sparks?
I am a songwriter, song producer, artist, a television DJ personality, a DJ, an aggressively happy person.
Okay. So how did you get your start in music?
I started in my bedroom, just like kind of making beats and DJing in my bedroom, and then how I got professionally started is I got my first radio show in 1999, and then once I got that show, I just started expanding myself. I don't really consider myself like to have professionally got into the business until like 2001.
So you worked with a lot of big names in the music business, such as Ludacris, Diddy, Lady Gaga. Which artists were you most excited to collaborate or work with?
I'm excited to work with everybody that I work with. So I usually I'm one of those people that always have ideas, and I'm just always thinking about how this could work for this person, how it'd be cool if this person did that. So I love just working on new projects because it allows me to be experimental and start sharing all the ideas that clutter my brain. So there really hasn't been anybody more exciting to work with. Obviously, because Lady Gaga is a genius, and when I got the opportunity to work on that album, it was really exciting. But, it's kind of like when you're coming up the ranks, like if you're an athlete, to be on the star high school team was the biggest thing. And then when you get on the best college team, it's the biggest thing. And then when you get on the best NBA team, it's the biggest thing. So according to different periods of my life, everything I did was the best thing at that point. So nothing has really trumped the other thing because everything's been awesome during the course of my career, if that makes sense.
So you're up for a Grammy for your work on Lady Gaga's Born This Way album. What was going through your head after hearing that news?
It still doesn't seem real, to be honest. I don't really sit and dwell in accolades or achievements. When something cool happens, then it's kind of like it doesn't feel real to me, and I just kind of keep my head down and say, oh, cool, and I just keep working for the next thing.
Okay.
So, I don't know, it might sound cheesy, but I could have like 5 Grammys and 20 million records sold, and I'd still be like, all right, I still haven't done the biggest thing yet.
What would be the biggest thing, the biggest accomplishment in your head?
I don't know, because I think even if I got to that point, I'd make a new goal for myself. So, it's kind of like, one of my favorite things in life to do is to make other people happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know you can never make everybody happy, so that's why my goal would never ever really be met when it comes to that, because I'd always be wanting to make more people happy and help more people. For instance, like in Ellen DeGeneres, like, how do you not like Ellen DeGeneres? If there's anyone out there that doesn't like Ellen DeGeneres, that means they just don't like happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't see like how someone like her could want to accomplish more because she makes so many people happy, but I'm sure she has more goals she wants to reach, or never feels like she's doing enough either. You know what I mean? I just have one of those kind of personalities.
Okay. Well, you're known as a popular DJ, a television correspondent for the network, a producer. What's the next thing we can see you doing in this upcoming year?
Well, this upcoming year, I'm definitely focused on my album as an artist coming out. My first single drops next month. It's with me and Pitbull. It's called Watch You. I've been in the studio with Jim Johnson and Rico Love working on records for my album. So for this next year, I'm really just focused on my music as an artist and writing and producing more records on other people's albums, from Usher to Enrique Iglesias to Mike Posner to all of those people's albums I'm working on. And then once I have a much bigger picture plan than just putting out my music. But for this year, that's all I'm focused on, is just the music and trying to make the music be successful and accepted.
So tell us about this album that you're working on. Like, what's the type of sound we can expect, and who are you working with?
Well, I'm working with a lot of people. It's kind of like a cross between. See, like, I'm in a unique situation where, like, I'm friends with, coming from my background, having a hip-hop background, I'm friends with that whole world. So like, from the Dipsets to, the Kanyes to, the hip hop side of things, and then being on E and being in Las Vegas and, being someone that loves rock music, I'm also down with, the other side from the Pete Wentz's to, you know, bands like Travis Barker's and stuff like that. So my music will reflect basically who I am and what my personality is. And the sound of my music it'll basically be pop music, but with different elements of things that make up Clinton Sparks. And if you know Clinton Sparks or follow me, then you know the plethora of different genres of music that I've been involved with, from clips to, Chester French. You know what I mean? Two total opposite sounding groups, but I can come in and make it still sound cohesive and not sound like, wow, that's weird, he did that thing that has totally nothing to do with that over there. I'm able to kind of make them merge together and make sense for both audiences that I've been able to build.
So I know you said you're working with a couple of artists like Enrique Iglesias and Pitbull. Who else can we see you working with in this new year?
Well, it's hard to say because being in my position, you're working on everyone's album and nothing's ever a guarantee to stick. So I could be in the studio and make 5 records for Flow Rider and think they're all smashes, and then it doesn't make the album. You know what I mean? So I'm working on, and that happens with everybody. Timbaland could make that record, Dr. Dre, and they don't make the album. So, I mean, I'm working on everyone's album, getting a lot more calls. People are calling me to the studio. People are asking me for records, and people are inviting me to come write on their albums. So, whatever sticks, I'm down to work with anybody and everybody, that it makes sense and that's open to my experimental ideas. Even the record I did on Lady Gaga's album, if you listen to it, it doesn't sound like anything that's out. You know what I mean? And when we were making it, I did that on purpose. I was like, I just want to make something that sounds like theatrical.
Well, I know that track Bloody Mary was a fan favorite on her CD.
Well, I also just did a remix to Heavy Metal Lover as well, which was another fan favorite. So I'm dropping my awesome mixtape in 2 weeks, and it'll be on there. I'm not going to allow people to download it. I'll have to just hear it on my mixtape at first, and then I'll put it out afterwards.
Okay. Well, I read an interview that you have a lot of unreleased tracks with artists like Beyonce, Mike Posner, Brandy, and Fabulous. Do you ever think of putting out a mixtape with those unreleased songs on it?
Well, it would be unethical because those songs are not out because they didn't want them to come out. So I couldn't do that unless I wanted to totally ruin my chances to work with those people ever again. But even the Beyonce is a perfect example. I wrote and produced that record. We recorded it, and I got the congratulatory email you made the album, please upload the session for mastering. And then 3 weeks before the album was packaged, it ended up not making the album. So, nothing's a guarantee. You think you have a record. I mean, we made 40 beats for Lady Gaga's album. You know what I mean? And then we got 2 of them on there. So, and we're sitting there thinking, oh, this is killer, oh, this is crazy, oh, this is killer. And, people have their own opinion of what they think is killer or direction they want to go. So, that's why all those records, that's why I'm sitting on all those records. I mean, even the Ambiguous record with me, Mike Posner, and Big Sean, that record wasn't even supposed to come out. That was a record me and Posner were driving down the street, and I said the word ambiguous when we were talking. And I said, you know what, man, that would be awesome if we made a song called Ambiguous. And he was like, yeah, that would be cool, huh? So I'm like, we should go to the studio right now and make that record. So I already had the beat, so we went there and made the record. And then we hit up Big Sean and told him to put a verse on it. And, it was a week when me and Posner were just working on a bunch of records together. And then that record was just kind of sitting in the laptop. And I remember Sean asked, can he put it on his mixtape? And I was like, nah, I don't want you to put it on your mixtape. Then 2 months went by and I got a Google alert that said that song was coming out on Big Sean's mixtape. So I emailed Mike and Sean and was like, yo, who leaked the song? And then, Posner hit me and said, not me. And then Sean hit me an hour later and was like, bro, can we talk? So I was like, oh man. So then he called and he was like, yo, I thought you said it was cool and reason why I didn't want it to come out is because, do you know the song?
No, I'm not really familiar with it, but I'm going to listen to it after this interview.
Alright, well, we have like 1 million YouTube views on the video. We did a video and everything for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the verse, which ended up becoming like the most talked about and quoted line in the song, was a line that I said, but I was unsure about putting the record out with that line because it's so over the top raunchy. And the line is, can I come over your house? Okay, but can I come over your mouth? And I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna put that out there. It's so vulgar. And then, so then when I wrote it and said it, I was just saying it messing around. And then, but then that ended up being the line that, you know, everywhere I went, every girl would say that to me, or they would tweet it to me, or whatever. And so it ended up turning out okay. But the point of me saying all this is that you never know what's going to happen to a record. Had Sean not put that out on a mixtape, that record might still just be sitting in my laptop, and nobody would have ever heard it.
Well, with being a big DJ and knowing what the crowd likes when it comes to playing music, who do you think will be big in music in the next 2 years that's just coming out recently?
Well, you know, I really think the kid Sam Adams from Boston, are you familiar with him?
No.
Sammy Adams from Boston, I have heard his album, and I think he has many smashes in the can. He's a good-looking dude, and he's got great music, and I think he's very marketable, and I think that he could be a superstar in the next year or two.
Okay.
But there's another artist named Jared Evans, with no S, that I also think can be a superstar. He's very talented. Again, another young, good-looking dude that can sing, he can rap, he can act. So I think he's a superstar in the making too. There's a lot of people, man. I run into so many talented people, and I get so baffled. So I'm like, why are they not superstars?
Right.
Like, what are these labels not seeing in these people that I'm seeing? You know what I mean? Like, why are they not pushing them more? Matter of fact, Jared Evans was on Interscope Records and just got released, like, a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, how do they not see, like, there's so many different angles that they can make money and blow this kid up. And it's like, maybe they just don't have the interest or the time of wanting to sit there and develop and look at, you know, new business opportunities for an artist like that. And maybe that works for them, but hopefully somebody sees him and sees the potential and does what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody like me.
I feel you. Do you ever think about being having your own record label in the near future sometime?
You know, it's funny you say that because for years people always say that to me. They're like, oh man, I want to sign to you. I want to do this. And I'm always like, sign to what? I'm just like a dude trying to make it on my own. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, people, I don't look at myself the same way other people look at me.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, I'm still like a young dude trying to make it on my own. You know what I mean? But other people look at me like, what are you talking about? You're well established. You've made many accomplishments. Like, you have, you know, the experience and the connections and the resources to do all these things. And I don't know, man. I just never. But that's how I felt, and I'm now starting to come to terms with maybe I am in a position where I can help other people. And it was never because I didn't want to. It was always I didn't look at myself as somebody that could. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I frown on people that try to start labels or go and get artists, and, you know, this is my artist, and like, dude, you're not even cracking. Like, what are you going to do for that artist? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So, I never wanted to be that guy that would try to push other product on you, and my product hasn't even sold yet. So that's what and now that things are like, you know, things are turning out well as far as my career, and I do have credibility, you know, with respect to my work and the quality of the work. I'm starting to feel a little bit okay with toying with the idea of becoming my own fully functional, you know, operation that can take on other people. But I would never want to take on somebody if I don't feel that I can give them what they deserve. And at this point, like I said, this year, I'm focused on the Clinton Sparks brand.